So how'd you get your name?
J Fresh. So like before I got J Fresh, I was called Bboy Flex.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Bboy Flex.
So if you don't know, like most b-boys of old would get their b-boy names kind of gifted to them, so it'd be attributed to like just something about them.
Ah.
You know, like I always use b-boy Stretch Mark as a bit of an example, because that's quite a crazy name just to begin with. You know, like people don't like stretch marks. You know, majority of people. But for him, you know, his name was all about, you know, stretching the mark. So whenever he breaks...
No way, is that actually...
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, if you're going to do an Indian step, right,
yeah,
he's going to do it way bigger than you.
Damn.
He's stretching the mark of, like, being extreme.
That's insane. I never knew that was the core behind his name. Wow.
And so, yeah, so I was like, that for me went, like, that was a whack name, but now it's a mean name, you know? Like, yeah. And, but Bboy Flex to me, I kind of got cursed with that. Did I tell you yesterday?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was basically, you know, kids hanging out. I think it was in like intermediate high school, and we're climbing trees. I fell out of the tree, smashed my back on a branch as I fell back, and pretty much my head touched the back of my heels. My whole back bent back, and it would have looked like I was flexible. Really, I was just hurt. And yeah, since that day, like the boys that were there, they were just like, "Whoa, you're so flexible, bro." Like, I wasn't.
Like, was it a joke, or did they actually just think like, "Damn, this dude's flexible"?
I don't know. I think it was both. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, boys being boys. And so when I started dancing at like random discos, and like at my nan used to run a skate town that had you know, a big huge skate rink in it.
Tight.
And there'd always be like a bit of a dance off like halfway through the night there. And so when I danced there, you know, there'd be people on the mic, and then yeah, my boys were yelling out to the DJ, "That's Bboy Flex, that's Bboy Flex." And I was like, "No, I'm not Bboy Flex." And they're like, "He's flexible." And then the crowd started chanting, you know, just flex, flex, flex.
Damn,
flex.
bro, you were actually cursed with that name, bro.
And I was like, no, and I was, you know, in the middle of the dance floor, like yelling, no. Next event, it was the same thing, you know. "Oh, we got Bboy Flex in the house." So years and years later, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 9 years later, I'm back in the scene, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be Bboy Flex anymore, because everyone kept coming up to me, you know, afterwards, like, "Are you really flexible? Can you do this flexible thing with your arms?"
So throughout that whole time span, from when you got your name to like when you changed it, like you were always addressed as Bboy Flex?
Yeah.
Damn.
See,
bro.
like Izzy,
yeah,
he still calls me Flex.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Crack up.
Yeah. But when it came time for name change, you know, like it's quite hard to try and just name yourself, especially when like the kaupapa, or like the, you know, the kind of the guidelines for being a b-boy is like getting gifted a name. You know, I felt like, oh, I'm being a little bit rude to like the culture by naming myself. But I just wanted something that, you know, would actually fit me a bit better.
Yeah.
So I went with J Fresh, because like a lot of the compliments I'd had from like my choreography dance life is like, "Bro, you're so clean when you dance. Like everything you do is really clean. You know, all about clean lines, clean arm movements, clean technique." I was like, "Oh, yo." And so that kind of stuck out for me as something that I want to improve on and be better at. So I hit up Google, and you know, I was like, okay, clean. What's some other words for clean?
No way.
And Fresh popped up, and I was like, oh, because fresh is like one of those overused hip hop words.
Yeah.
You know, like, that boy is fresh. You know, but I went with it anyway, just because, you know, it meant something to me.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my aspiration, just to be clean with everything I do.